The bathroom floor was cold against Zara Mitchell's trembling legs. She gripped the edge of the marble sink, trying once more to pull herself upright, but her knees buckled the moment she put weight on them. A sharp, burning pain radiated through her hips and lower back, forcing a whimper from her lips that she immediately stifled. Crying accomplished nothing. She'd learned that 3 days ago. Her reflection in the mirror looked like a stranger. Dark circles shadowed her brown eyes, eyes that used to sparkle with intelligence and determination when she taught English to eager Korean businessmen. Her locks, usually tied back neatly, hung loose and disheveled around her face. Bruises decorated her collarbone like grotesque jewelry, purple, blue, yellow in various stages of healing. She traced one with her finger, wincing at the tenderness, then let her hand drop. The phone on the counter vibrated, an alarm. Her stomach clenched. Session in 30 minutes. Zara's breath came faster. 30 minutes to shower, make herself presentable, take the pills Dr. Park left on the nightstand, and mentally prepare for another 90 minutes of mechanical intimacy with a man who used her body like exercise equipment. 30 minutes before Silas Kang's need would wake him, and he would reach for her with those cold, calculating hands. She looked at the bottle of prescription painkillers next to the sink. The label read her name in neat Korean and English. Zara Mitchell. Pain management. Dr. Park Yoon-hee. How considerate. They even medicated her so she could survive what they called a marriage. 4 days ago, I was a virgin, she whispered to her reflection. Now I can't remember what it felt like to be whole. The memories came anyway, uninvited and relentless. 14 days earlier, Los Angeles. Mom, please, you have to try the treatment. We'll find the money somehow. Zara held her phone with both hands, staring at her mother's gaunt face on the video call. Gloria Mitchell looked so small in that hospice bed, her deep brown skin ashen, her breathing labored even through the oxygen cannula. Baby girl, where are you going to find $800,000? Gloria's voice was barely above a whisper, weak from the kidney failure that was slowly drowning her from the inside. The insurance won't cover it. We tried the crowdfunding. We tried everything. Zara's younger sister Imani appeared in the frame, her warm brown eyes red from crying. At 19, Imani still had that college girl softness, her face round and hopeful despite their circumstances. Her box braids were pulled into a ponytail, and she wore one of their mother's old cardigans like armor against the harsh reality crushing them. Zara, Mom's right, Imani said, her voice cracking. The doctors say maybe 4 months without the treatment. Maybe 6 if she's lucky. We can't, there's no way. Don't. Zara cut her off, her teacher voice sharp and commanding. Don't you dare give up. Going to fix this. Gloria reached out with a trembling hand, as if she could touch Zara through the screen. Don't destroy your life for me, baby. I've lived mine. You and Imani, you have your whole futures ahead of... Stop talking like you're already dead. Zara's voice broke. I'm not losing you. I'm not. The call ended with promises Zara didn't know how to keep. She sat in her tiny soul apartment, surrounded by English textbooks and lesson plans, and cried until she had no tears left. Outside, the neon lights of Seoul's nightlife flickered to life. The city that had been her adventure, her fresh start after graduate school, now felt like a cage. The knock came at 11:30 that night. Zara wasn't expecting anyone. Her few friends in Seoul knew better than to drop by unannounced. She approached the door cautiously, peering through the peephole. A woman stood in the hallway. Korean, maybe early 40s, severe features, and a perfectly tailored black business suit that probably cost more than Zara's monthly rent. Her hair was cut in a sharp bob, and even through the distorted peephole lens, her expression was unnervingly calm. Miss Mitchell, the woman said in perfect English, my name is Minseo Park. My employer has a business proposal for you. It's urgent, and tonight. I don't know you, Zara called through the door. I'm not interested in whatever you're selling. Your mother had a minor stroke 4 hours ago. Minseo's voice remained level, factual. The hospital in Los Angeles hasn't informed you yet because they're still running tests, but I can tell you she has perhaps 6 weeks, not 4 months. The herniated disc is compressing her spinal cord, the kidney failure is accelerating, and the refractory malaria is becoming resistant to the last available treatment. Zara's hand froze on the doorknob. How do you... My employer owns the hospital, Miss Mitchell. We have access to information others don't. Minseo tilted her head slightly. There's a black car waiting downstairs. You can refuse, of course, but your mother doesn't have time for you to be cautious. The car was a Mercedes, sleek and black with tinted windows. Min Seo didn't speak during the drive through Seoul's glittering streets. They passed through Gangnam, the wealthy district Zara had only visited as a tourist, and pulled up to a building that looked like it belonged in a luxury magazine spread. Club Eclipse. Even Zara had heard of it, one of Seoul's most exclusive nightclubs, where Korea's elite came to play. The building was glass and steel, modern architecture that seemed to glow from within. But Min Seo led her past the main entrance to a private door guarded by two men in expensive suits with the unmistakable bearing of military training. They descended. Not up to the club, but down, through levels of increasing security. Card readers, biometric scanners, hallways lined with surveillance cameras. By the time they reached the bottom level, Zara's heart was racing. The penthouse office was a contradiction, underground but designed to feel elevated. Floor-to-ceiling screens showed feeds from multiple club floors simultaneously. Leather furniture, a bar with bottles that probably cost more than her student loans. And behind a massive desk, a man who made Zara forget how to breathe. Silas Kang was 36 but looked ageless. 6 feet 1 inch of lean muscle in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit. His black hair was styled back, showing the slight gray at his temples that only made him more striking. His face was all sharp angles, high cheekbones, strong jaw, thin lips. But it was his eyes that stopped her. Dark brown, almost black, and completely cold, like looking into the eyes of a shark. "Miss Mitchell." His voice was deep, his English accented but flawless. "Please, sit." Zara remained standing. "Who are you? What do you want?" "Direct. I appreciate that." Silas gestured to Min Seo, who placed a leather folder on the desk. "Your mother has 4 months to live. I can give her 20 years. He opened the folder. Inside was Gloria Mitchell's complete medical file. Every test, every diagnosis, every failed treatment option. But also something else. A treatment plan from a Swiss clinic Zara had never heard of. Experimental gene therapy, stem cell treatments, procedures that sounded like science fiction. "This costs $800,000, Zara said, her voice hollow. "It costs considerably more than that. But I have relationships with this clinic. I can have your mother transported there within 48 hours. Full recovery is not guaranteed, but likely. She could have decades instead of weeks." Zara's hands shook as she looked at the papers. "What do you want from me?" "Marriage. 18 months. You and your sister." The world tilted. "What?" A door opened. A younger man entered. Early 20s, handsome in a boyish way, but with something manic in his dark eyes. His black hair was messy, falling into his face. He wore expensive streetwear and moved with nervous energy, like he couldn't quite keep still. "This is my son, Theo," Silas said calmly. "Your sister Imani will marry him. You will marry me. Both contracts will be executed simultaneously." "This is insane." Zara backed toward the door. "I'm not some. You can't just buy people." "I'm not buying you. I'm offering a trade." Silas stood, moving around the desk with predatory grace. "Your mother is dying in pain. She's drowning in her own failing organs. She's suffering, and you're helpless to stop it." He stopped inches from her. Up close, she could see the thin scar along his ribs through his shirt, the perfect manicure on his hands, the complete absence of warmth in his expression. "I'm offering you power over death itself, Miss Mitchell. All you have to do is sign a contract and say yes for 18 months. Is that too high a price for your mother's life?" "Why us?" Zara managed to ask. "Why me and my sister specifically?" "Because you're virgins. Because you're desperate. Because you're Black Americans in Korea. No one will look for you very hard if you disappear." His honesty was brutal. "And because I need wives who fit very specific criteria." "I need to think." Your mother had another minor stroke. Silas pulled out his phone, showing her a timestamp from 2 hours ago. "While you were sleeping, while you were unaware, she was coding in that hospice bed. They revived her. This time. Next time, they might not be so lucky." Zara felt the walls closing in. "Your sister boards a plane to Seoul tomorrow," Silas continued, "or your mother dies in pain, alone, drowning in her own fluids. Those are your options, Miss Mitchell. Choose wisely." Zara stood in that underground office, her mind racing through impossible calculations. $800,000, her mother's life, 18 months of her own. The math didn't make sense, but then again, nothing about this situation made sense. "I want to see the contract," she heard herself say. Silas's lips curved into something that might have been a smile on a warmer man. Minseo? The older woman produced another folder, this one significantly thicker. Page after page of legal text in both Korean and English. Zara's hands shook as she flipped through it, her graduate degree in English literature doing nothing to help her parse the dense legal terminology. "You'll want a lawyer?" Silas said, returning to his desk. "Unfortunately, you don't have time for one, but I'll summarize the key points. You and your sister will enter into legal marriages under Korean law. The marriages will last 18 months. During that time, you will live with your respective husbands, attend social functions as required, and fulfill all duties expected of a wife." Duties. Zara's voice was flat. Complete sexual availability, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Silas delivered this information as casually as if discussing a business merger. You'll wear tracking devices. You'll submit to weekly medical evaluations. You'll participate in family activities as requested. There are performance clauses, entertainment requirements, and behavioral expectations detailed in sections 7 through 12. Zara felt bile rise in her throat. This is prostitution. This is marriage. Legal, binding marriage. Silas leaned back in his chair. The difference is significant, Miss Mitchell. Prostitution is transactional and temporary. Marriage is a commitment. I'm offering you and your sister the protection of my name, my resources, and my influence. In exchange, you'll provide companionship and fulfill your wifely obligations. Why? The question burst out of her. Why go through all this? Why not just hire? Why marriage? For the first time, something flickered in Silas's cold eyes. Not warmth exactly, but something human. Because I have a condition that requires a very specific kind of partner. Professional arrangements don't work long term. I've tried. Marriage, with proper incentives and consequences, creates the necessary commitment. Theo laughed suddenly, a sharp manic sound that made Zara jump. He means we're broken, and we need wives who can't leave. That's what this is really about. Theo. Silas's voice was sharp. What? She should know what she's signing up for. Theo moved closer to Zara, his energy chaotic and unsettling. My father has hypersexual disorder, childhood trauma. His body needs release every 3 to 4 hours, or he experiences physical pain, violent episodes, complete inability to function, and I inherited it, plus bipolar disorder as a bonus. During my manic phases, I'm insatiable. During my depressive phases, I'm catatonic. We're a real catch, the Kang men. Zara stared at him, then at Silas. You're telling me this is medical? It's a condition recognized by psychiatric professionals, Silas confirmed, and it's managed through a combination of therapy, medication, and physical release. Previous attempts at managing it through traditional means have failed. Professional companions burn out. Relationships built on genuine affection collapse under the strain. But a contractual marriage with proper motivation? That has potential for sustainability. You've done this before. It wasn't a question. 3 times. Each wife lasted progressively longer. The first, 3 months. The second, 6 months. The third, 8 months. Silas's expression remained neutral. You would be the 4th, and I'm optimistic that with the right incentive structure, you might last the full 18 months. What happened to them? The other wives? Minseo stepped forward. Wife 1 is in a psychiatric facility in Osaka, being treated for PTSD. Wife 2 is in a rehabilitation center in Moscow for sex addiction that developed during her time here. Wife 3 is in witness protection in Australia after attempting to expose this operation to authorities. The clinical delivery of these fates made them somehow more horrifying. Zara's legs felt weak. She sat down, not because she was ready to negotiate, but because she was afraid she might fall. Your sister arrives tomorrow, Silas said. The contract signing will happen simultaneously for both of you. Your mother's transport to Switzerland will begin the moment you sign. Dr. Park will conduct medical examinations to verify certain contract requirements. The marriages will be legally registered, and your 18 months will begin. What if I say no? Then your sister doesn't board the plane. Your mother dies within 6 weeks, and you return to your little apartment and your English teaching job, knowing you could have saved her but chose not to. Silas pulled out his phone again, swiping through images. These are from 4 hours ago, your mother's latest MRI. Would you like to see how much her condition has deteriorated? Zara looked away. Stop. I'm not trying to be cruel, Miss Mitchell. I'm being honest about your situation. You have no good options, only varying degrees of sacrifice. He set the phone down. I'm offering you the power to save your mother's life. Yes, the cost is high. Yes, the sacrifice is significant. But is 18 months of your life too much to ask for decades of hers? You're a monster. Perhaps, but I'm a monster who can save your mother. Can you say the same? The words hit like physical blows. Zara closed her eyes, seeing her mother's face on that video call, seeing Imani's tears, hearing her mother's weak voice saying, "Don't destroy your life for me. I need to talk to my sister." Of course, Minseo will arrange a call. Silas stood, indicating the meeting was over. You have until tomorrow evening to decide. After that, the offer expires. Your mother's window of treatment opportunity closes, and you'll have to live with your choice for the rest of your life. The car ride back to her apartment was silent. Minseo didn't speak, didn't offer false comfort or additional pressure. She simply delivered Zara to her door and said, "A phone will be delivered within the hour. Use it to call your sister. The line will be secure." Zara sat on her small bed, surrounded by the detritus of her normal life. Textbooks, lesson plans, photos of her mother and sister from happier times. The apartment that had felt cozy now felt suffocating. The city lights outside her window looked like stars she could never reach. The phone arrived exactly 60 minutes later. It was already programmed with one number. Imani answered on the first ring. "Zara? What's going on? Some woman showed up at my dorm and put me on a plane. She said Mom's dying and you need me in Seoul immediately. I'm at LAX right now. The flight leaves in 3 hours. What is happening?" Zara took a shaky breath. "Imani, I need you to listen very carefully, and I need you to trust me." She explained everything. The visit from Minseo, the underground, office, Silas Kang and his son, the contract, the conditions, the cost. The silence on the other end stretched so long that Zara thought the connection had dropped. "Imani, you're asking me to marry a stranger, to have sex with him for 18 months, to give up my life, my college, everything." Imani's voice was small, childlike. "Zara, I'm 19. I'm a virgin. I've never even had a serious boyfriend. And you want me to? I know what I'm asking. God, Imani, I know." Zara was crying now, hot tears streaming down her face. "If there was any other way, any other option, I would take it. But Mom is dying. She's suffering. And this is the only way to save her. Maybe she's right. Maybe we shouldn't destroy our lives for her. She's our mother. She worked 3 jobs to raise us. She sacrificed everything so we could have opportunities she never had. And now she's drowning in her own failing organs, and we have the power to save her. How can we not?" Imani was crying too now. "I'm scared." "So am I. But we'll be together. Same building. We'll get through this together." "What if we can't? What if we break like the other women did?" Zara didn't have an answer for that. She wanted to promise that they'd be fine, that they'd survive intact, that 18 months would pass and they'd emerge unchanged. But she'd seen Silas Kang's cold eyes. She'd heard about the psychiatric facilities and rehabilitation centers and witness protection programs. "We're stronger than they were," Zara said finally. "We have each other, and we have Mom depending on us. That has to be enough." The boarding announcement echoed in the background of Imani's call. "My flight is boarding. Zara, if we do this, if we sign those contracts, promise me something." "Anything. Promise me that no matter what happens, no matter what they do to us, we remember who we are. We don't let them take that. We don't become them." Zara looked at her reflection in the darkened window. "I promise." She didn't know then that it was a promise she wouldn't be able to keep. The next day passed in a blur. Minseo collected Zara from her apartment. Another car, another drive through Seoul's wealthy districts. This time they went to a different location, a private office building with no signage, just a number on the door. Imani was already there. She looked so young in her college hoodie and jeans, her box braids pulled back, her eyes red and swollen from crying on the plane. The sisters embraced, holding each other like drowning victims clutching debris. "I can't believe we're doing this," Imani whispered. "We don't have a choice. There's always a choice, Zara. We're just choosing Mom." A lawyer appeared. Korean, expensive suit, the kind of lawyer who specialized in making illegal things look legal. He walked them through the contracts page by page. Legal marriage, 18-month duration, complete sexual availability, mandatory medical evaluations, tracking devices, performance, clauses, entertainment requirements, and then the breeding clause. You must attempt conception, the lawyer read in accented English. Successful pregnancy will extend the contract duration until the child reaches 2 years of age. The child will be considered property of the Kang family with predetermined custody arrangements. Imani made a sound like she'd been punched. Any questions? The lawyer asked. Zara had 1,000 questions, but none of them would change anything. Where do we sign? The ceremony was sterile, administrative. Silas appeared in a different suit, this one dark navy, equally expensive. Theo wore designer streetwear and couldn't stop fidgeting, his manic energy filling the room. They signed papers, exchanged rings, heavy platinum bands with embedded tracking devices. The treatment started an hour ago, Silas said, showing them a photo on his phone. Their mother in a private air ambulance, medical equipment surrounding her, a team of specialists in attendance. She's already en route to Switzerland. You've saved her life, Miss Mitchell, both of you. You should be proud. Zara looked at the ring on her finger, at her sister's pale, terrified face, at the man who now legally owned her for the next 18 months. Proud wasn't the word she would have chosen. Dr. Park Yoon-hye was waiting at Silas's penthouse. She was 54, matronly, with a gentle smile that made Zara's skin crawl. The examination was invasive, humiliating, clinical. Confirmation of virginity, blood work, hormone panels, psychological baseline evaluation, physical measurements, all documented with the precision of a scientist cataloging specimens. You'll experience significant pain the first week, Dr. Park said in her soft, grandmotherly voice. I'll manage it medically. Pain medication, anti-inflammatories, muscle relaxants. Your body will adapt. They always do. Always. As if Zara was just another in a long line of test subjects. The penthouse itself was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's glittering skyline, modern furniture that looked like art, a kitchen Zara would never use. Her new prison was beautiful, expensive, and completely soulless. Silas poured himself whiskey and sat across from her in the living room. I know you have questions. Why me? Zara asked. Specifically me. There must be thousands of desperate women in the world. Why did you choose me and my sister? Your psychological profile. He swirled the amber liquid in his glass. Minseo's team evaluates potential candidates extensively. We look for specific traits. Intelligence, stupid women break faster, and broken toys are useless. Desperation, but the right kind of desperation, family-oriented rather than self-oriented, physical characteristics that appeal, and crucially, a protective instinct. You tested extremely high for protective behavior toward your sister. That makes you resilient. You'll endure more to protect her than you ever would. To protect yourself. The calculation in his words was chilling. They hadn't just found Zara. They'd selected her like livestock at auction. I have hypersexual disorder, Silas continued. My body requires sexual release every 3 to 4 hours, around the clock. Without it, I experience physical pain. Testicular pain, pelvic pain, migraine-level headaches. I become violent, unable to control my impulses. I can't sleep, can't think, can't function. It's not about pleasure, Miss Mitchell. It's about survival. He showed her his phone, a schedule with alarms set at precise intervals. 6 a.m., 9:30 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m., midnight, 3 a.m. 7 sessions per day, he said, each lasting anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on my needs. You'll learn my patterns, you'll learn what works, what doesn't, and you'll become efficient at managing my condition. Zara's mouth was dry. And if I can't? Then you'll break, like the others, but I'm optimistic about you, Zara. May I call you Zara? He didn't wait for permission. You have something the others lacked. Purpose. You're not doing this for yourself. You're doing this for your mother, for your sister. That kind of motivation is powerful. It can carry you through things that would destroy someone acting out of self-interest alone. The first alarm went off at 9 p.m. Silas stood, setting down his glass with precise control. It's time. Zara's heart hammered against her ribs. This was it. The moment everything changed, The moment she stopped being Zara Mitchell, graduate student and English teacher, and became something else. A function, a solution to a medical problem, a wife. She followed him to the bedroom on legs that felt disconnected from her body. The next 90 minutes were clinical, mechanical, and more painful than anything Zara had ever experienced. Silas moved through the encounter like executing a workout routine, efficient, focused, completely detached. He didn't kiss her, barely looked at her. Just used her body with the impersonal precision of someone operating machinery. When it was over, he fell asleep almost immediately. Zara lay bleeding, trembling, her mind somewhere far away where pain couldn't reach. The alarm went off at midnight. Then 3 a.m., then 6 a.m. By day 4, she couldn't walk. Dr. Park arrived at 7 a.m. with her medical bag and that gentle, disturbing smile. She found Zara on the bathroom floor, still unable to stand, her body a map of bruises and bite marks. "Oh dear, let's get you comfortable." The doctor's voice was soothing, like she was addressing a child with a scraped knee rather than a woman who'd been sexually used 7 times in the past 24 hours. "This is normal for the first week. Your body is adjusting to Mr. Kang's requirements." Zara said nothing as Dr. Park helped her onto the bed, examined her with clinical efficiency, and then produced a series of syringes from her bag. Anti-inflammatory for the muscle pain, hormone supplement to increase your natural lubrication and pain tolerance, a mild sedative to help you sleep between sessions, and antibiotics, just as a precaution. Each injection was administered with practiced ease. "You'll also take these orally: pain medication, muscle relaxants, and a multivitamin complex designed specifically for your situation." "My situation," Zara repeated hollowly. "Is that what we're calling it?" "Your body will adapt, Zara. I've managed this process 3 times before. By week 2, the pain will decrease significantly. By week 3, you'll be functional. By month 2, you'll barely notice the discomfort." Dr. Park packed her supplies with efficient movements. The human body is remarkably resilient. You'd be surprised what it can learn to tolerate. After the doctor left, Zara managed to pull herself to the window. 42 floors below, Seoul went about its normal morning, people commuting to work, students heading to class, tourists snapping photos, a whole world of people living normal lives while she existed in this sterile prison in the sky. Her phone buzzed. Not her old phone. That had been confiscated. This was a new one provided by Min Seo, with exactly 3 contacts: Silas, Dr. Park, and Imani. The text was from her sister. "Are you okay? I haven't heard from you since the wedding. Please tell me you're okay." Zara's fingers hovered over the keyboard. What could she possibly say? That she couldn't walk? That her body felt destroyed? That she'd dissociated so completely during last night's 3 a.m. session that she'd watched herself from somewhere near the ceiling? She typed, "I'm fine. Adjusting. How are you?" The response came immediately. "Liar. I can't walk either. Theo he's manic right now. He needs me constantly. 8 times yesterday, 9 the day before. I can't keep track anymore. Zara, I don't think I can do this for 18 months. Zara closed her eyes, against the tears. She'd promised to protect her sister. She'd promised they'd get through this together, but what protection could she offer when she was equally trapped, equally broken? "We survive," she typed back. "That's all we can do. We survive for Mom. I love you. I love you too, even if I hate you a little bit right now for making me do this." The honesty of it was like a knife. Zara set the phone down and stared at the ceiling until the next alarm went off. By day 7, she could walk again, barely, with a shuffling gait that made her feel 80 years old instead of 26. But Dr. Park's chemical cocktail was working. The pain was becoming manageable. Her body was adapting. That was the horror of it. Not that it hurt, but that it was starting to hurt less. Silas noticed the change during the noon session. "You're adjusting well," he said, his voice clinically approving. "Better than the others did at this stage. Dr. Park was right about you." "Don't." Zara's voice was rough from disuse. She'd barely spoken in a week. "Don't act like this is something to be proud of." "Why not? Adaptation is survival. You're surviving. That's worthy of acknowledgement." He was sitting up in bed, not even breathing hard, while Zara's entire body trembled with exhaustion. "The first month is critical. If you can make it through the first month, your chances of lasting the full 18 months increase exponentially. Is that what your data shows from the other wives? Something flickered in his expression. Yes. The first 3 all broke during month 1. They couldn't psychologically reconcile what was happening to them. But if you can adapt, if you can accept your role, the rest becomes easier. Easier. Zara laughed, a bitter sound. You mean I'll stop being a person and become a function? That's what you're conditioning me for, isn't it? You and Dr. Park with your injections and your schedules and your clinical observations, you're training me like an animal. I'm helping you survive an impossible situation. Silas stood moving to the window. From behind, with his lean, muscular frame and expensive clothes, he looked like any other successful businessman. Only his scheduled alarms and the tracking data on his phone revealed the monster underneath. Would you prefer I was cruel? That I hurt you beyond what's necessary? I'm not a sadist, Zara. I don't enjoy your pain. I simply need what I need, and you agreed to provide it. I agreed because you gave me no choice. You had a choice. You chose your mother's life over your own comfort. That was a choice. He turned to face her, his dark eyes as cold and calculating as ever. Don't rewrite history to make yourself a victim. You're not a victim. You're a woman who made a calculated sacrifice. Own it. The words stung because they contained a grain of truth. She had chosen this. Maybe not freely, maybe not without coercion, but she'd signed the papers. She'd said yes, and now she had to live with that choice. That afternoon, Minseo arrived with an iPad and a severe expression. Tomorrow night, you'll attend your first family dinner. Both you and Imani, there are expectations for how you'll dress, behave, and participate. I'm here to prepare you. Zara was sitting on the couch, finally able to sit without wincing. What kind of dinner? Mr. Kang conducts business with his inner circle weekly. As his wife, you're expected to attend and serve as hostess. The dinner is formal. 8 people total, Mr. Kang, Theo, you, Imani, myself, and 3 of Mr. Kang's business associates. That sounds almost normal. Minseo's expression didn't change. The dinner is normal. What happens after is not. You'll be expected to participate in certain activities with your husband in the presence of others. These activities are part of your performance clause, Section 9 of your contract. The medication in Zara's system wasn't enough to numb the ice-cold dread that filled her. Stomach. What kind of activities? Sexual activities, group activities. You and Imani will both participate with your respective husbands while others observe. Then, as family, you'll be expected to engage with other participants as Mr. Kang directs. Zara stood abruptly, her legs still shaky. No, absolutely not. The contract said sexual availability to my husband, not to strangers. Section 9, paragraph 3. Minseo pulled up the contract on her iPad, turning it to show Zara the dense legal text. Performance requirements include participation in business-related entertainment activities, as directed by primary contract holder. This includes, but is not limited to, attendance at social functions, hosting duties, and performance of wifely duties in professional contexts. The words were deliberately vague, designed to be interpreted however Silas wanted. Zara had been so focused on the 18-month timeline and her mother's treatment that she hadn't parsed every clause, every paragraph, every hidden meaning. I won't do it. Then your contract is in breach. Your mother's treatment stops immediately. She's only 2 weeks into an 18-month program. The malaria will kill her within days of stopping the antiparasitic therapy. The kidney failure will finish the job within weeks. Minseo's voice remained level, factual. Is that really the choice you want to make? Zara sank back onto the couch, her brief moment of defiance crumbling. You people are monsters. We're business people providing a service. You're receiving $800,000 in medical treatment for your mother. In exchange, you're providing 18 months of companionship and service. The terms were clear even if you didn't fully understand them. Minseo set the iPad aside. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m., a dress will be provided. Wear it, attend, participate, or break your contract and live with the consequences. Those are your only options. After Minseo left, Zara called Imani. Did she tell you about tomorrow night? Imani's voice was thick with tears. Yes. Zara, I can't. I can't have sex in front of people. I can't watch you with strangers. I can't. Her sister's breathing was coming in gasps now, panic attack building. Breathe, Imani. Just breathe. Zara forced her own voice to stay calm even as her mind screamed. We'll get through it together. We'll be in the same room. We'll look at each other. We'll remember why we're doing this. Mom wouldn't want this. If she knew what we were really doing, she'd tell us to stop. Then we don't tell her. We protect her from the truth, just like we're protecting her from death. We survive this, and when it's over, we never speak of it again. You really think we can go back to normal after this? You think we can just pretend 18 months of this didn't happen? Zara didn't answer because she didn't have an answer. She was already forgetting what normal felt like. The dress arrived the next morning, black, designer, revealing without being obscene. It fit perfectly, which meant they'd taken her measurements during that first medical examination. They'd been planning this since before she signed the contract. At 5:30 p.m., a car arrived. Not Min Seo this time, but one of Silas's security team, a man built like a tank who said nothing during the drive to Club Eclipse. They went down again to that underground level, but this time to a different room. Private dining area. Elegant table set for 8. Soft lighting, classical music playing. Imani was already there in a similar black dress, looking like she might shatter if someone touched her. The sisters grabbed each other's hands the moment Zara entered. "I'm scared," Imani whispered. "Me too. But we're together. That's something." The men arrived, Silas and Theo first, both in expensive suits. Then 3 others. Korean men in their 40s and 50s, dressed in business attire, the kind of men who ran empires and crushed. Competitors without losing sleep. They looked at Zara and Imani like merchandise being evaluated. Dinner was surreal. Polite conversation about business, politics, art. The food was exquisite, prepared by a private chef. Wine flowed freely. Silas played the role of perfect host, his hand occasionally resting on Zara's thigh, under the table as if they were a normal couple at a normal dinner party. Theo was manic, talking rapidly, his leg bouncing under the table. Imani barely touched her food, her eyes fixed on her plate. The conversation turned to business, import-export operations, real estate developments, money laundering hidden behind legitimate enterprises. These men weren't just wealthy, they were criminals, and this dinner was a criminal enterprise meeting. After dessert, the doors locked. Furniture was moved to the sides of the room. The elegant dining area transformed into something else. Silas stood, helping Zara to her feet with a gentle hand that felt like a mockery. "Now," he said quietly, "we celebrate the family union properly." What happened next would stay with Zara forever. Not just the physical acts, though those were bad enough, but watching her 19-year-old sister be used by Theo while strangers watched and commented. Watching Imani's eyes go distant and empty. Watching her own reflection in the mirrored walls as she performed like a trained animal. The worst part was that Dr. Park's drugs worked. Her body responded even when her mind screamed in horror. The hormone supplements made her aroused even in the midst of degradation. And that betrayal, her own body's betrayal, was somehow worse than anything the men could do to her. It lasted 3 hours. Afterward, back in Silas's penthouse, Zara stood in the shower until the water ran cold. She scrubbed her skin raw, trying to wash away the feeling of strange hands, strange mouths, strange eyes consuming her. Silas found her on the bathroom floor at 2 a.m., the scheduled alarm having gone off while she dissociated under the water. "You did well tonight," he said, as if praising a dog for learning a new trick. Zara looked up at him with empty eyes. "I hate you." "I know, but you'll still perform when the alarm goes off, because that's what you do now. It's what you are." And he was right. When he reached for her, she didn't fight. She went through the motions. Because fighting accomplished nothing, and her mother needed 18 months of treatment. She was 3 weeks into her new life. She had 17 months and 1 week remaining. Week 4 began with another medical evaluation. Dr. Park arrived with her ever-present medical bag and that grandmother smile that made Zara want to scream. "Excellent progress," the doctor announced after examining her. "Your body is adapting beautifully. Hormone levels are optimal. The tearing has healed completely. You're maintaining adequate hydration despite the physical demands. I'm very pleased." Zara sat on the edge of the bed in a silk robe, watching the doctor make notes on her tablet. The other wives, the ones who broke. What exactly happened to them? Dr. Park paused, considering the question. Wife 1, Keiko, had a complete psychological break at 10 weeks. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping outside the required sessions, stopped speaking. We hospitalized her when she attempted to harm herself. Wife 2, Anya, developed a chemical dependency on the hormone supplements and began exhibiting hypersexual behavior herself. She couldn't function without constant stimulation. Wife 3, Charlotte, maintained better psychological boundaries but made the mistake of trying to expose the operation. She's safe now, but displaced. And you think I'll be different? You already are. You have something they lacked, a sister experiencing the same thing. Shared trauma creates bonds. You and Imani are supporting each other whether you realize it or not. That's a significant protective factor. Dr. Park closed her bag with efficient movements. Also, you're accepting the reality rather than fighting it. That's crucial for long-term adaptation. After the doctor left, Zara found a message from Imani. Can you come down? I need to see you. Theo's sleeping. Theo's apartment was identical to Silas's in layout, but completely different in atmosphere. Where Silas's space was sterile and controlled, Theo's was chaotic, clothes scattered everywhere, empty energy drink cans, mood stabilizer bottles on every surface, the controlled chaos of someone fighting their own mind. Imani opened the door looking worse than Zara had ever seen her. Her box braids were tangled. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. She'd lost weight, her collarbones jutting sharply beneath her oversized t-shirt. The sisters embraced in the doorway, holding each other tight. I can't do this anymore, Imani whispered. Zara, I can't. He's having another manic episode. He needed me 11 times yesterday. 11 times. I'm so tired I can't think straight. And he keeps apologizing while he's doing it, saying he's sorry. He's sorry, he can't stop, and I... Her voice broke. I want to die. I keep thinking about just ending it. Zara pulled back, gripping her sister's shoulders. Don't say that. Don't even think it. Why not? What's the point of surviving this if we're not even ourselves anymore? Look at us, Zara. Look at what we've become in less than a month. They moved to the couch. Through the window, Seoul's skyline glittered, beautiful and indifferent. Mom called yesterday, Imani continued. On the phone they gave me. She sounded so good, Zara, so strong. She was walking without assistance. The pain is almost gone. The kidney function is improving. She's getting better. That's good. That's what we wanted. She asked how we were doing, what our husbands were like, if we were happy. Imani laughed, a broken sound. I told her everything was fine, that Theo was kind, that I was adjusting well to life and soul. I lied so smoothly, like lying was just another thing I'd learned to do here. Zara understood. She'd taken a similar call from Gloria 3 days ago, had performed the role of happy newlywed with practiced ease. The ability to lie convincingly was just another survival skill they were acquiring. Family dinner is tomorrow night again, Imani said quietly. I don't think I can handle another one. Last time, one of those men... She stopped, shaking her head. It doesn't matter. It's all the same degradation. We compartmentalize. We put those hours in a box in our minds and we don't open it. I have too many boxes now, Zara. I'm running out of room. They sat together in silence, two sisters who'd once talked about everything now finding that words were inadequate for their new reality. What was there to say that could capture the magnitude of what they were experiencing? Theo emerged from the bedroom, shirtless and disheveled, his eyes wild with manic energy. Imani, I need... Oh, your sister's here? She's leaving, Imani said quickly, standing, but Theo was already moving toward her, his need written plainly on his face. Zara saw her sister's expression change, saw resignation replace the brief moment of hope that had existed while they talked. I should go, Zara said. Yeah. Imani walked her to the door. At the threshold, she whispered, Do you think Mom would trade her life back if she knew what it cost us? Zara didn't answer because the truth was too complicated. Their mother would be horrified, but she'd also already received 2 weeks of life-saving treatment that was working. The ethical mathematics of the situation were unsolvable. Back in Silas's penthouse, Zara found him working at his desk, multiple computer screens showing feeds from his various clubs. He looked up when she entered. How is your sister? Barely holding on. Theo's manic episode is destroying her. Dr. Park is monitoring the situation. If Imani requires hospitalization, we'll provide it. We have no interest in permanent damage to our assets. He said it so casually, as if discussing broken equipment rather than a 19-year-old girl's psychological collapse. We're not assets. We're people. You're both. Asset and person aren't mutually exclusive categories. Silas returned his attention to the screens. You should rest. We have a 14-hour day tomorrow. Business meetings in the morning, family dinner in the evening, and I'll need you available for sessions throughout. Do you ever feel anything? The question burst out of Zara before she could stop it. Guilt? Shame? Anything resembling a conscience? Silas was quiet for a long moment. Then he closed his laptop and turned to face her fully. I feel need. Constant, overwhelming need. I feel pain when that need isn't met. I feel the same animal drive that's controlled my life since I was 12 years old and watched my parents die. His voice remained level, but something darker moved beneath the surface. What I don't feel is guilt for surviving. My condition destroyed my childhood, destroyed every normal relationship I tried to have, turned me into something that can't function in normal society. So I built a different society, one where my needs could be met without destroying everyone around me. You are destroying us, me and Imani, just like you destroyed the wives before us. You're still standing, still functioning, still protecting your sister and saving your mother. That's not destruction. That's transformation. He stood, moving closer. The woman you were 4 weeks ago couldn't have survived that family dinner. But you did. You adapted. You're becoming something stronger, something capable of enduring what would break others. Something broken, you mean? Broken and stronger aren't opposites, Zara. Sometimes things have to break before they can become what they're meant to be. The alarm on his phone went off. 6 p.m. session, Zara's. Body responded before her mind processed it, muscle memory already forming after 4 weeks of conditioning. She moved toward the bedroom automatically. Silas followed. You see? Adaptation. In another month, you won't even consciously register the alarms. You'll just respond. And the month after that, you might even find yourself anticipating them. That won't happen. We'll see. The session was mechanical as always. Zara had learned to disconnect, to send her mind somewhere else while her body performed its function. She imagined herself teaching English to eager students, walking through Seoul's markets, calling her mother with real updates instead of lies. Afterward, Silas fell asleep immediately, as he always did. Zara lay awake, staring at the ceiling, counting the hours until the next alarm. 3 a.m., then 6 a.m., then 9:30 a.m., the schedule that ruled her life now. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. This is Charlotte, the third wife. If you're reading this, Minseo's security has a gap. I have maybe 30 seconds before they trace this. You can get out, both of you. There's a way. But you have to act before month 3. After that, the dependency is too strong. The drugs change you. Don't become what I almost became. There's a contact. The message cut off mid-sentence. 30 seconds later, it deleted itself from her phone entirely. Zara's heart pounded. Charlotte, the wife who'd escaped to witness protection. Somehow, impossibly, she'd found a way to reach through Silas's carefully constructed security. There was a way out. But the message had said, before month 3. They were already in week 4. That gave them maybe 8 weeks maximum before whatever dependency Charlotte warned about became irreversible. Zara grabbed her phone, texting Imani. Did you get a message? From someone unexpected? The response came immediately. Yes. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Zara looked at Silas sleeping beside her, looked at the platinum band on her finger with its embedded tracker, thought about her mother walking without assistance in Switzerland, her body healing, her life extending. I don't know, she typed back. I don't know what I'm thinking anymore. The next morning brought new complications. Minseo arrived at breakfast with her iPad and that severe expression. There's been a security breach. Someone attempted to contact you both from outside the network. The message was intercepted and deleted, but we need to address this. She sat across from Zara at the dining table. Charlotte Hughes. You know who she is? Wife 3, the one who escaped. The one who broke her contract and endangered this entire operation. She's been trying to contact new wives for the past year, attempting to sabotage our family arrangements. We've blocked her at every turn, but she's persistent. Minseo's eyes were hard. If she contacts you again, you'll report it immediately. Any communication with her violates your contract. Any attempt to follow her advice violates your contract. Any action that suggests you're considering escape violates your contract. Am I clear? Crystal. Good. Because contract violations don't just end your mother's treatment. They result in legal prosecution, Korea has very strict laws about contract fraud. You'd face criminal charges, prison time, and your mother would lose access to care while you were incarcerated. Min Seo stood. Charlotte thought she was being rescued by the FBI. She didn't realize she was trading one cage for another. Witness protection isn't freedom, Zara. It's a different kind of prison. At least here you have luxury, purpose, a clear end date. After Min Seo left, Zara sat in the silence of the penthouse, Min Seo's words echoing. 18 months had seemed impossibly long when she signed the contract. Now it felt like the only lifeline she had. Because the alternative wasn't freedom. It was her mother's death, criminal charges, and a different kind of captivity. Charlotte's warning played on loop in her mind. The drugs change you. Don't become what I almost became. But what if it was already too late? That night's family dinner was worse than the first. More men, more performances, more degradation. Zara watched herself in the mirrored walls and didn't recognize the woman she saw. That woman moved with practiced efficiency. That woman's body responded on command. That woman had empty eyes and perfect technique. Imani broke during it, completely shattered. Started crying and couldn't stop, even as Theo tried to continue, even as the men watched with clinical interest. Dr. Park was called. Sedatives administered. Imani was carried to Theo's apartment unconscious. Zara wanted to go to her, but Silas's hand on her wrist stopped her. Dr. Park will handle it. You have other obligations. His eyes moved to the men still present. The evening isn't over. And it wasn't. It continued for another 2 hours. By the time Zara returned to the penthouse, she couldn't feel anything. Not fear, not shame, not even hatred, just emptiness. Month 1 was almost complete. 17 months remained, and somewhere in her chemically altered, systematically conditioned body, Zara felt the truth of Charlotte's warning taking root. The drugs were changing her, and she wasn't sure she could stop it. Month 2 began with Imani in the psychiatric wing of a private hospital. Dr. Park had admitted her for acute stress reaction and chemical imbalance correction. The official story was exhaustion from adjusting to married life. The reality was a complete psychological break. Zara was allowed to visit once under strict supervision. Her sister looked tiny in the hospital bed, sedated to near unconsciousness. IVs dripped clear fluids into her arms. Monitors beeped steadily. She looked younger than 19, vulnerable and broken. They're adjusting my medications. Imani mumbled, her words slurred. Dr. Park says I wasn't. Responding well to the hormone supplements, making me too anxious. New cocktail will help me adapt better. Zara held her sister's hand, noting the fresh needle marks. How long do they want to keep you here? Week, maybe 2, until I'm stable enough to resume my duties. Imani's eyes focused briefly, a flash of the girl she'd been. Zara, I tried to tell them no. Tried to refuse the new medications. But they said it was part of the contract. Medical compliance clause. If I don't take them, Mom's treatment stops. What kind of medications? Anti-anxiety, mood stabilizers. Something that's supposed to increase my pain tolerance and decrease emotional response to trauma. They're medicating away my ability to feel what's happening to me. Tears leaked from the corners of Imani's eyes. I'm going to forget how to be sad, how to be scared, how to be anything except what they need me to be. A nurse entered, checking the IV bags. Visiting hours are over. Mrs. Kang needs her rest. Mrs. Kang. The name felt like a brand. Back at the penthouse, Silas was hosting a business meeting. 3 men in expensive suits sat in the living room, discussing import routes and distribution networks. They barely glanced at Zara as she moved through the space. She'd become furniture, background, a fixture in Silas's life that people noted and then ignored. Min Seo intercepted her before she could retreat to the bedroom. You have a wardrobe fitting at 3 p.m. New requirements for the upcoming events. What events? Mr. Kang is expanding the companion program. You'll be helping to recruit and train the next candidates. Min Seo handed her a folder. These are the profiles of 3 women currently being evaluated. You'll review their cases and provide input on their suitability. Zara stared at the folder like it was a snake. I'm not helping you destroy more lives. You are, or your contract is in breach. Section 12, paragraph 7. Wives are expected to assist in all aspects of family business operations as directed. Min Seo's expression remained neutral. This is your business now, Zara. You're part of the Kang family. You have responsibilities. The folder contained 3 files. 3 desperate women with sick relatives and impossible situations. Destiny Walker, 23, Black American, mother dying of cancer, teaching English in Seoul, virgin. Psychological profile indicated high empathy and protective instincts. Maria Santos, 27, Filipina, father needing heart transplant, working as a nurse, virgin. Profile suggested strong work ethic and ability to compartmentalize. Yuki Tanaka, 25, Japanese, younger brother with leukemia, recent college graduate, virgin. Profile indicated submissive tendencies and high pain tolerance. 3 women, 3 tragedies, 3 potential wives for the expanding Kang operation. Zara's hands shook as she read their stories. These women had no idea what they were walking into. They thought they were being offered salvation. They didn't know they were being evaluated like livestock. You want me to tell you which one will break the slowest, Zara said quietly. I want you to tell me which one has the highest probability of successful 18-month completion. You've survived 2 months. You understand what's required now. Your insights are valuable. And if I refuse? Min Seo's expression didn't change. Then we proceed without your input and add violation marks to your contract record. Accumulate enough violations, and we invoke the breach clause. You know what that means. Zara knew, her mother's treatment stopping, criminal prosecution, everything she'd sacrificed becoming worthless. She looked at the 3 faces in the files, 3 women who reminded her of who she'd been 2 months ago. Naive, desperate, believing that survival was possible if you were just strong enough. Destiny Walker, Zara heard herself say. She'll last the longest. Her psychological profile shows the same protective instincts that have kept me functional. She'll endure for her mother the way I'm enduring for mine. Min Seo smiled. It was the first genuine expression Zara had ever seen on her face, and it was terrifying. Excellent assessment. I agree completely. We'll move forward with Ms. Walker's recruitment. After Min Seo left, Zara sat with the folder staring at Destiny's photo. A young woman with bright, hopeful eyes and an infectious smile. In 6 months, maybe less, those eyes would be as empty as Zara's own. And Zara had just sealed her fate. The wardrobe fitting that afternoon was for a different kind of event. The seamstress took measurements while explaining that Mr. Kang was hosting a private party for VIP clients. 50 guests. Entertainment would include performances by the wives and select professional companions. Performances, Zara repeated flatly. The seamstress, a Korean woman in her 60s who'd probably seen everything, didn't meet her eyes. The outfits are designed for easy removal. Comfort is secondary to aesthetic appeal and accessibility. The alarm on Zara's phone went off. 3 p.m. session. Her body responded automatically, muscle memory carrying her toward the bedroom even as her mind cataloged this new degradation. Silas found her there, already preparing. You're adapting faster than I anticipated, he observed. Dr. Park's reports show remarkable progress. Your hormone levels have stabilized. Your pain response has decreased by 70%. Your psychological resilience markers are higher than any previous wife. You say that like it's good news. It is. It means you'll survive. It means the system works. He approached, loosening his tie with practiced movements. It also means we can expand your role. You're ready for the next phase. What next phase? Active participation in business development, recruiting, training. You'll work directly with Min Seo to identify and prepare suitable candidates. His hand traced the curve of her jaw. You have insights the rest of us lack. You know exactly what these women will experience. You can help them prepare, make their transition easier. You want me to become you. I want you to become a partner. There's a difference. He stepped back, studying her. In 16 months, your contract expires. You can walk away and never look back. Or you can stay. Take a position in the organization. Help shape how we operate. Make it more humane if that's your goal. You'd have power, resources, influence. I'd have blood on my hands. You already do. Destiny Walker's recruitment is proceeding based on your recommendation. You're already part of this, Zara. The only question is whether you'll be a passive participant or an active architect. The session proceeded mechanically. Zara had learned to disconnect so completely that she could think about other things while her body performed its function. She thought about Imani sedated in a hospital bed, About Destiny, Walker's hopeful smile, about Charlotte's warning that the drugs would change her, about the fact that she no longer felt horror during these sessions. Just resignation, acceptance, adaptation. That night, she received another message. Not from Charlotte this time. From someone unexpected. Gloria Mitchell. Sweetheart, I've been trying to reach you for days. Is everything okay? Your messages have been so short lately. I'm worried. The treatment is going wonderfully. I walked 2 miles today. Can you believe it? But I miss hearing your voice. Please call when you can. Love, Mom. Zara stared at the message. Her mother had walked 2 miles, was regaining her life, would potentially have 20 more years because of the choice Zara had made. 20 years purchased with 18 months of systematic destruction. Was that trade worth it? Would it still be worth it in 16 months when her contract expired and she had to look at herself in the mirror and reconcile what she'd become? She didn't call her mother back. She couldn't. Because if she heard Gloria's voice, heard her happiness and hope and love, Zara might shatter the way Imani had. Instead, she opened the recruitment files again, studied Destiny Walker's profile, memorized the details of the woman whose life she was about to destroy. Tomorrow, she had her first official meeting with Minseo about recruitment protocols. Next week, Destiny would receive her first contact from a mysterious woman offering impossible salvation, and Zara would be the architect of another woman's breaking. The alarm went off at midnight, then 3 a.m., then 6 a.m. The schedule continued relentless and unchanging. By week 10, Imani returned from the hospital. She looked different, calmer, more settled, like someone who'd been chemically lobotomized into acceptance. The new medications had done their work. I'm better now, Imani told Zara during their first meeting after her release. Dr. Park was right, I was fighting too hard, against something I can't change. Now I just do what's required. It's easier this way. The sisters sat in Imani's apartment, tea growing cold on the table between them. Theo was at one of the clubs, giving them rare time alone. You sound like a robot, Zara said. I sound like someone who's surviving. Isn't that what you told me to do? Imani's eyes were clearer now, but somehow less alive. The medications help. I don't feel the fear anymore. Or the shame. I just feel nothing. And nothing is better than what I was feeling before. No, it's not. Feeling nothing means they've won. They've turned you into exactly what they wanted, a compliant body with no will of its own. And you're different? Imani's voice sharpened. You're working with Minseo now, helping recruit new wives. You think I don't know? Theo told me. He thinks it's wonderful that you're embracing your role in the family. The words hit like physical blows. I'm doing what I have to do to survive. So am I. We're both doing what we have to do. The only difference is I've stopped pretending it's temporary. This is who we are now, Zara. This is what we've become, and fighting it just makes it hurt more. Zara wanted to argue, to insist that they could maintain their core selves despite everything, but looking at her sister's chemically flattened affect, at her own reflection in the window showing a woman who no longer flinched at the alarms, she wondered if Imani was right. Maybe acceptance was the only form of survival available. The VIP party happened at the end of month 3. 50 men, all wealthy, all connected to Silas's criminal network. Zara and Imani performed alongside 6 professional companions in a choreographed display of degradation that lasted 4 hours. Zara watched herself in the mirrors, watched her body move with practiced efficiency, watched her face maintain a pleasant, neutral expression, even as hands grabbed and mouths consumed, and cameras documented everything. For the dark web subscribers paying $50,000 monthly for access to the Kang collection. Somewhere during hour 3, she realized she'd stopped feeling anything at all. Imani had been right. Nothing was easier than everything. After the party, in the early morning hours, Zara stood at the penthouse window looking out at Seoul's awakening skyline. Silas found her there, dressed for his morning business meetings. You performed exceptionally well last night, he said. Several clients specifically requested future private sessions with you. I declined, of course. You're not available for individual bookings. But it demonstrates your value to the organization. My value? Yes, you're an asset worth protecting and developing. He moved beside her at the window. The offer stands, Zara. When your contract expires, you could walk away, or you could stay and help build something. You could ensure that future wives are treated better than you were. You could implement reforms, protections, support systems. You could make this operation more humane. Or I could burn it to the ground. You could try. Charlotte tried. She's in witness protection, unable to ever use her real name again, living in constant fear of retaliation, having accomplished nothing except displacing herself. Is that the freedom you want? Zara didn't answer because she didn't have an answer. 3 months down, 15 months remaining. And somewhere in those 15 months, she'd have to decide who she was going to become. The woman who escaped and lived in hiding, the woman who served her time and walked away scarred but free, or the woman who stayed and became the monster, justifying it as harm reduction and improvement of an irredeemable system. Her phone buzzed. A message from Min Seo. Destiny Walker has accepted preliminary contact. First meeting scheduled for next week. Your presence is required for the recruitment interview. Zara closed her eyes. In 7 days, she'd look a desperate young woman in the eyes and offer her salvation that was really damnation. And the worst part was that some small, poisoned piece of Zara's mind was already preparing the speech, already finding the words that would sound like rescue and feel like hope and ultimately become the chain that bound another soul to this machinery of systematic destruction. Month 4 began tomorrow. The meeting with Destiny Walker took place in a neutral location, a luxury hotel suite in Gangnam designed to look like an opportunity rather than a trap. Min Seo had orchestrated every detail. Fresh flowers, expensive tea service, soft lighting that made everything seem warm and welcoming. Zara arrived 30 minutes early to prepare. Min Seo reviewed the script one final time. You're the success story, Min Seo explained. You're the proof that this arrangement works. Happy wife, saved mother, adjusting well to life and soul. You keep it light, optimistic, sisterly. Make her feel like she's joining a family, not entering a transaction. What if I tell her the truth instead? Min Seo's expression didn't flicker. Then your contract violation accumulates to breach threshold. Your mother's treatment stops. Imani's contract becomes void and she loses protection from Theo's more violent tendencies during manic episodes. And you both face criminal prosecution for contract fraud? Those are the consequences of honesty, Zara. Are you prepared to accept them? Zara wasn't. She hated herself for it, but she wasn't. Destiny Walker arrived precisely on time. She was even prettier in person than in her photographs. Petite frame, natural afro, perfectly shaped, warm brown skin that seemed to glow with youth and health. She wore a simple sundress and comfortable flats, her style casual and approachable. Her eyes held that brightness Zara recognized from her own reflection 4 months ago. Hope, determination, the belief that willpower could overcome any obstacle. Ms. Walker, thank you for coming. Min Seo greeted her with practiced warmth. Please sit. Can I offer you tea? Just water, thank you. Destiny's voice was soft, slightly nervous. She clutched a small purse like it was armor. Your message said you might be able to help with my mother's situation. I don't understand how, but I'm willing to listen. Of course. Before we discuss details, I'd like you to meet someone. Min Seo gestured to Zara. This is Zara Kang. She joined our family 4 months ago under similar circumstances. Destiny's eyes widened slightly at the name. Kang. The same surname that appeared on half the luxury developments in Seoul. You're married to Silas Kang, yes. Zara forced herself to smile to play the role. I know this seems overwhelming. I felt the same way when Min Seo first approached me. My mother was dying. Terminal illness, multiple organ failures. I'd exhausted every option, and then this opportunity appeared. What kind of opportunity exactly? Destiny leaned forward. Your message was vague about the details. Min Seo took over smoothly. The Kang family has extensive medical connections globally. We can provide access to experimental treatments, specialists, facilities that aren't available through conventional channels. Your mother's cancer, stage 4 pancreatic. Current prognosis is 3 months, perhaps 4. We can extend that to years, possibly decades. For what price? Destiny wasn't naive. Nothing like that comes free. Marriage, Zara said, forcing the word out. To a member of the Kang family. Legal marriage under Korean law. 18-month contract with clearly defined terms and expectations. Destiny sat back processing. You're telling me I can save my mother's life by marrying a stranger for 18 months? Not a stranger exactly. You'd meet your prospective husband before signing anything. Get to know him, understand the arrangement, ask questions. Minseo produced a leather folder. This is a preliminary agreement, non-binding. It simply indicates your interest in learning more. If you sign it, we'll arrange an introduction meeting. If you decide not to proceed after that, you're free to walk away with no consequences. Zara watched Destiny's face as she processed the information, saw the same calculations she'd made 4 months ago, the same impossible mathematics of sacrifice and survival. What's the catch? Destiny asked. There has to be a catch. This was Zara's cue, the moment Minseo had prepared her for. The expectations are significant. You'd be expected to live with your husband, fulfill all wifely duties, participate in family and business functions. It's not a casual arrangement. It's a real marriage with real obligations. Wifely duties? Destiny's intelligence was sharp. You mean sex? Yes, among other things. Your husband would have needs and expectations that you'd be required to meet. The contract is very specific about availability and performance requirements. So, it's prostitution dressed up as marriage. It's marriage, Minseo corrected firmly. Legal, binding marriage, with all the protections and obligations that entails. You'd be Mrs. Kang. You'd have access to resources, security, status. In exchange, you'd provide companionship and fulfill your marital obligations for 18 months. Destiny was quiet for a long moment, her fingers drumming on the arm of her chair. Why me? There must be thousands of desperate women in Seoul. Why specifically seek me out? You fit certain criteria, Minseo said smoothly. Background, education, personality profile. The Kang family is selective about who joins our circle. I need to think about this. Of course. But I should mention, your mother's oncologist gave her 3 months 6 weeks ago. You have perhaps 6 weeks remaining. These treatments take time to arrange. If you're interested, you'd need to decide within the next few days. The pressure tactic, the same one they'd used on Zara. Create urgency, eliminate time for careful consideration, force a decision driven by desperation rather than reason. Destiny looked at Zara. Can I ask you something? Off the record? Minseo started to object, but Zara spoke first. Of course. Are you happy? Is this arrangement? Is it worth it? You've been married 4 months. Has it been worth saving your mother? The question hung in the air. Minseo's eyes were hard, warning. This was the moment. Zara could tell the truth and destroy everything, or she could lie and seal another woman's fate. She thought about her mother walking 2 miles, regaining life and strength, thought about Imani chemically flattened into compliance, thought about the alarms that controlled her existence and the mirrors that showed her transformation into something unrecognizable. My mother is alive and getting stronger every day, Zara said carefully. She has a future she wouldn't have had otherwise. That's what this bought. Whether it's worth it, that's a question only you can answer for yourself. But yes, my mother is alive, and that matters. It wasn't a lie, but it wasn't the truth either. It was the carefully crafted middle ground that Minseo had taught her to occupy. Destiny nodded slowly. I'd like to see the preliminary agreement and meet the prospective husband before making any decisions. Absolutely. We'll arrange everything. Minseo produced the folder with practiced efficiency. Sign here indicating your interest in proceeding to the next stage. No commitment, just willingness to learn more. Zara watched Destiny's hand hover over the signature line, watched her internal struggle play out across her expressive face, watched the moment when maternal love and desperate hope overcame caution and self-preservation. Destiny signed. Minseo smiled. Wonderful. We'll be in touch within 48 hours to arrange your introduction meeting. In the meantime, please don't discuss this with anyone. Discretion is essential for both legal and privacy reasons. After Destiny left, Zara remained seated, staring at the signature on the document. You did well, Minseo said, packing her materials. Natural, believable, just the right amount of honesty without revealing anything damaging. You're developing excellent recruitment skills. I just condemned another woman to what I'm experiencing. You gave another woman the same choice you had. She made her decision freely, just as you did. Minseo's logic was airtight and completely hollow. In 3 days, she'll meet her prospective husband, one of Mr. Kang's business associates who shares similar needs. If she proceeds, she'll save her mother. If she doesn't, her mother dies. You didn't create that situation, Zara. You simply presented an option. An option that was really a trap. A choice that wasn't really a choice. Salvation that was actually damnation. Zara returned to the penthouse feeling hollowed out. Silas was in a business meeting, voices carrying from the office. She went to the bedroom and stood in front of the mirror, studying the woman reflected there. 4 months ago, that woman had been Zara Mitchell, teacher, daughter, sister. Now she was Zara Kang, wife, asset, recruiter. The physical differences were subtle. Same face, same body, though thinner and marked with fading bruises, but the eyes were different, empty, dead. She'd become what Charlotte warned her about. Her phone buzzed, a message from Imani. Theo's manic again. 3 days now. I can't take much more. Can you come? Zara went down to the 38th floor, found her sister curled on the couch, wearing one of Theo's oversized hoodies, looking like she was trying to disappear inside it. He's in the bedroom, Imani whispered, pacing, talking to himself. He's needed me 6 times already today, and it's only 4 p.m. The medications aren't helping anymore. He's building tolerance. Have you called Dr. Park? She increased his dosage. Yesterday. Said it would stabilize him. It's not working. Imani's hands shook as she pulled the hoodie tighter. Zara, I think I'm pregnant. The words hit like a physical blow. What? I missed my period. I'm never late, and I've been nauseous every morning. I haven't tested yet because I'm afraid to know for sure. Tears streamed down Imani's face. If I'm pregnant, the contract extends. 2 more years after the baby is born. I can't do this for 3.5 years. I can't. We'll figure something out. There's nothing to figure out. The contract is clear. Pregnancy extends duration. Baby becomes Kong property. I'd be trapped here until the child is 2 years old, and even then I'd lose custody. Imani's voice rose to near hysteria. I'd have to leave my baby with them. With Theo. With these monsters. I can't bring a child into this world just to abandon it. The bedroom door opened. Theo emerged, shirtless and wild-eyed, his manic energy palpable. Imani, I need... Oh, your sister? Hello, Zara. Imani, I need you. Now. Theo, she needs rest, Zara tried. She's my wife. She has obligations. His voice was rising, the manic irritability breaking through. Contract says 24/7 availability. I need her now. Imani stood mechanically, zombie-like obedience born from 4 months of conditioning. It's fine. I'm fine. Zara wanted to intervene, to protect her sister, to do something. But what could she do? They were both trapped in the same machinery, both crushed by the same contractual obligations. She left before she had to watch her possibly pregnant 19-year-old sister service her manic husband for the 7th time that day. Back in the penthouse, Silas's meeting had ended. He found Zara on the balcony, staring out at the city. Imani might be pregnant, Zara said without preamble. Dr. Park mentioned it was possible. The fertility treatments were part of the contract. She's 19. She has a manic bipolar husband who uses her body, like a drug, and you're going to trap her here for 3.5 more years if she's carrying his child. Those are the terms she agreed to. She's a child herself. Zara's composure cracked. She should be in college, dating boys her own age, figuring out who she is. Instead, she's being systematically destroyed by your son, and now she might be pregnant with a baby that will trap her here indefinitely. She made her choice. You both did. We didn't have a choice. You engineered situations where death was the only alternative to signing your contracts. That's not choice. That's coercion. Silas was quiet for a moment. Your mother walked 2 miles yesterday. Her kidney function is at 70% of normal. Her liver enzymes are normalizing. The malaria is in remission. She's alive and improving because of the choice you made. Was your mother's life not worth your sacrifice? The question was a knife, precisely aimed at Zara's deepest wound. I don't know anymore, she whispered. I don't know if any life is worth what we've become. You've become survivors, protectors, women who made impossible choices to save people they love. His hand rested on her shoulder, a rare gesture of something almost like comfort. That's not weakness, Zara. That's strength. And in 16 months, when your contract expires, you'll walk away knowing you gave your mother decades she wouldn't have had. That matters. And what will I be in 16 months? Who will I be after everything you've done to us? Someone stronger than you were. someone who survived something unsurvivable, someone who learned that they could endure anything. He moved to face her. You recruited Destiny Walker today. You looked a desperate woman in the eye and gave her the same option you received. How did that feel? Like becoming you. Good, because in 16 months you'll have a choice. Walk away and carry the trauma with you forever, or stay and help shape this operation into something better. Use your experience to improve conditions for future wives, implement protections and support systems, transform something broken into something functional. You're offering me a chance to become the architect of other women's destruction. I'm offering you a chance to have power instead of being powerless, to be an agent rather than a victim. His dark eyes held hers. You've already taken the first step. You recruited Destiny. You're already part of this. The only question is whether you'll be passive or active in shaping what comes next. The alarm on his phone went off. 9 p.m. session. Zara's body moved automatically toward the bedroom, muscle memory stronger than conscious thought. This was who she'd become. Someone who responded to alarms like a trained animal. Someone who could recruit other women into the same trap. Someone who was starting to think in terms of harm reduction and operational improvement rather than escape and resistance. Charlotte had been right. The drugs changed you, but it wasn't just the chemical compounds Dr. Park injected. It was the psychological drugs, the rationalization, the justification, the slow erosion of the line between victim and perpetrator. Month 4 rolled into month 5. Destiny Walker signed her contract after meeting her prospective husband, a Korean businessman in his 40s with the same condition as Silas. Her mother began treatment within 48 hours. Zara attended Destiny's first medical evaluation, watched Dr. Park perform the same invasive examination, heard the same gentle explanations about adaptation and conditioning, saw the same fear and resignation in a young woman's eyes. You'll adjust, Zara told her afterward, playing her assigned role. The first month is hardest, but you learn to cope, and your mother will live. That's what matters. Destiny nodded, wanting to believe. Thank you for being here, for understanding. I don't know how I'd get through this without seeing someone else who survived. Survived. The word felt like mockery. Imani's pregnancy was confirmed in week 18. Dr. Park delivered the news with clinical cheerfulness, as if 9 months of gestation followed by 2 years of extended contract was cause for celebration. Theo's response was manic joy. He was going to be a father. He loved Imani. This was proof they were a real family. Imani's response was silent tears and a request for increased sedatives. The breeding clause activated automatically. Contract extension processed. Imani's prison sentence extended from 14 remaining months to 38 months minimum. I want to die, Imani told Zara during one of their increasingly rare meetings. Her hand rested on her still flat stomach. I want to die, but I can't because of this thing growing inside me. I'm trapped in my own body now, trapped in this contract, trapped in this building. There's no escape anymore. Mom's treatment is working. She's healthy. She can be there for your baby. She can help raise. Don't. Imani's voice was sharp. Don't try to make this okay. There's nothing okay about bringing a child into this nightmare. Nothing okay about what we've become. You recruit women now, Zara. You look desperate people in the eye and lie to them the way Minseo lied to us. You've become them. The words landed like blows because they were true. Month 6 brought a new development. Silas presented Zara with an offer in writing. Director of Companion Services. Salary, $50,000 monthly. Benefits, private apartment, freedom of movement within defined parameters, authority over recruitment and training protocols. This position becomes available when your contract expires, Silas explained. 12 months from now. You'd have real power, Zara. Power to change how we operate, to implement reforms, to ensure future wives are treated more humanely than you were. Or I could walk away. Go back to America. Try to rebuild some semblance of a normal life. You could, but you'd walk away knowing that nothing changed, that the next wife and the one after her and the one after that would all experience exactly what you experienced. No improvements, no protections, no one advocating for their welfare. He set the contract on the table between them. Stay, and you can change that. You can make their suffering less than yours was. Isn't that worth considering? It was a seduction more powerful than anything physical. The promise of agency, of power, of transforming from victim to architect. and Zara found herself actually considering it. Month 7 brought the first anniversary party, not of Zara's marriage, but of the Kang Companion Program's formal establishment as a structured operation. Silas hosted an exclusive event at Club Eclipse's underground level, inviting the elite circle of men who participated in or benefited from the program. 60 guests, 4 current wives including Zara and Imani, 8 professional companions, and Destiny Walker, now 2 months into her own contract, still raw and traumatized but learning to perform her role. Zara watched the younger woman move through the crowd with mechanical precision, saw the empty smile that didn't reach her eyes, recognized the dissociative state that made survival possible. Destiny caught her gaze across the room and something passed between them. Not quite accusation, but not forgiveness either. She's adapting faster than expected, Minseo observed, appearing at Zara's elbow with champagne. Neither of them would drink. Your recruitment assessment was accurate. Strong protective instincts, high pain tolerance, excellent compartmentalization skills. She'll make the full 18 months. Is that supposed to make me feel better about destroying her life? You didn't destroy her life. You gave her mother a chance to live. Destiny made her choice with full information. Minseo's logic was flawless and completely inhuman. In fact, she's already expressing interest in the director position when her contract expires, following your trajectory precisely. The words chilled Zara more than any of the physical degradations she'd endured. The system was self-perpetuating. Victims became perpetrators, became recruiters, became architects, an endless cycle of trauma reproducing itself. Imani appeared, 7 months pregnant now, moving slowly with her swollen belly. She wore a designer maternity gown that probably cost more than Zara's former yearly salary, but her eyes were as dead as ever. Theo wants us to do a family performance, Imani said quietly. All 3 of us, you, me, and Destiny. He thinks it would be good for business relations. Silas agreed. You're 7 months pregnant? The contract doesn't have an exemption for pregnancy. Dr. Park cleared me for all activities until week 38. Imani's voice was flat, affectless. It's fine. I don't feel anything anymore anyway. The medications see to that. Before Zara could respond, Theo bounded over with manic energy, his eyes bright with whatever cocktail of mood stabilizers and stimulants he was currently taking. Sister? He'd taken to calling Zara that, as if their forced family connection was genuine. We're going to do something special tonight. A celebration of family unity. You, Imani, Destiny. The 3 pillars of our program. It'll be beautiful. There was nothing beautiful about what happened next. 2 hours of choreographed degradation, performed for an audience of men who paid premium prices for access to the Kang Collection's anniversary special. Cameras documented everything. Zara performed her role with practiced efficiency, her mind elsewhere, her body operating on autopilot. She caught glimpses of Destiny crying silently during her participation. Saw Imani's blank expression as Theo used her pregnant body with disturbing enthusiasm. Watched the whole grotesque spectacle reflected in the mirrored walls and felt absolutely nothing. That was the worst part. Not the acts themselves, which had become routine, but the complete absence of emotional response. She'd been chemically and psychologically conditioned into a state of perfect compliance. Charlotte had been right. The drugs changed you. And now Zara understood it wasn't just the hormones and sedatives. It was the drug of rationalization, of justification, of finding meaning in meaninglessness. After the party, in the early morning hours, Zara found herself in Silas's private office. He was reviewing footage from the evening, making notes for the editing team that would package highlights for dark web distribution. You performed exceptionally, he said without looking up. Revenue from tonight's event exceeded projections by 40%. The pregnancy element was particularly popular. We should consider that for future programming. My pregnant 19-year-old sister-in-law being sexually exploited is good for business. Is that what you're saying? I'm saying our clients have specific interests and we provide content that meets those interests. Imani consented to all of it when she signed her contract. He finally looked up. You're still thinking in terms of victimization. You need to start thinking in terms of service provision. These women provide a valuable service. We compensate them appropriately. Medical care for their families, financial security, protection, resources. It's a fair exchange. It's systematic abuse dressed up as business. It's survival, for them and for us. Silas closed his laptop. You're 7 months in, Zara. 5 months remain on your contract. Have you thought about my offer? Director of Companion Services? A chance to shape this operation from the inside. I've thought about it. And I think you're very good at making cages feel like choices, very skilled at framing exploitation as opportunity. Zara met his dark eyes. But I'm starting to understand that there's power in accepting the cage. If I'm going to be trapped, I might as well be trapped with authority rather than trapped as a victim. Something shifted in Silas's expression. Not quite approval, but recognition. You're learning. I'm adapting. Isn't that what you've been conditioning me to do for 7 months? Adaptation is survival, and survival sometimes requires becoming something you never thought you'd be. He stood moving around the desk. The offer stands. When your contract expires, you can walk away scarred but free, or you can stay and transform this operation into something better than what you experienced. Your choice. But was it really a choice? Or just another cage with different bars? Month 8 brought complications. Gloria Mitchell announced she was coming to Seoul to visit her daughters and meet her son-in-law. The treatment was complete, she'd been declared in remission, and she wanted to celebrate with her family. Absolutely not, Zara told Minseo when informed. She can't come here. She can't see what this really is. She's already booked the flight, arrives in 4 days. Minseo's expression was calculating. We can handle this. Your apartment will be prepared to look lived in and normal. You and Imani will have a 3-day leave from obligations to spend time with your mother. Silas and Theo will play the roles of devoted husbands. It's theater, Zara. We're quite good at it. The preparation was meticulous. Zara's penthouse was staged to look like a real home. Personal photos added, books scattered artfully, evidence of normal domestic life. Her wardrobe was adjusted to look less like a kept woman and more like a successful expat wife. Even her body was given a week to heal completely. Sessions suspended to ensure no visible bruises or signs of trauma. Imani's apartment received similar treatment. The psychiatric medications were adjusted to make her seem more animated, more present. Dr. Park coached her on appropriate responses and emotional displays. Your mother will see what we want her to see, Dr. Park explained during the final preparation session. Happy daughters, successful marriages, a grandchild on the way. She'll return to America satisfied that her sacrifice was worth it. Her sacrifice? Zara's voice was sharp. She didn't sacrifice anything. We did. She sacrificed her pride. She let her daughters save her rather than dying with dignity. That takes a certain kind of strength and a certain kind of selfishness. She'll want to believe everything is fine because the alternative is unbearable guilt. Gloria Mitchell arrived on a cool October morning, looking healthier than Zara had seen her in years. Her skin had color again. She moved without pain. She'd gained weight, her face full instead of gaunt. The treatment had worked miracles. Baby girl. Gloria embraced Zara at the airport, holding tight. Let me look at you. You're so thin. Are they feeding you? And look at this place. Seoul is. Beautiful. I can't believe you've made a life here. Zara performed her role perfectly. Loving daughter, happy wife, successful expat navigating cross-cultural marriage. The lies flowed smoothly, each one carefully rehearsed. Mom, this is my husband Silas Kang. Silas was perfect, charming, attentive, just foreign enough to explain any oddities Gloria might notice. He played the devoted husband with practiced ease, his hand resting on Zara's back with casual intimacy, his manufactured warmth almost convincing. Mr. Kang, thank you for taking such good care of my daughter and for... Gloria's voice caught. For everything. For the treatment. For giving me my life back. I can never repay what you've done. Family takes care of family, Mrs. Mitchell. Zara is my wife. Her mother's well-being is my responsibility. His performance was flawless. Please, you'll stay with us. We've prepared a guest room. The 3 days of Gloria's visit were surreal. Carefully choreographed outings to tourist sites. Elaborate family dinners where everyone played their assigned roles. Visits to Imani's apartment where Theo performed as the excited, expectant father, and Imani smiled with chemically enhanced affect. Gloria saw only what she wanted to see. 2 daughters thriving in unexpected circumstances. A grandchild on the way. The miracle of her own survival justifying every choice that had led to this moment. On the final night, Gloria sat with both her daughters in Zara's staged living room, tears in her eyes. I know it wasn't easy, she said quietly. The choice you made, marrying strangers to save me. But look at how it turned out. You're both happy. You have good husbands, a baby coming, and I'm alive to see it all. She took their hands. I'm so proud of you both. So grateful for your sacrifice. Imani's composure cracked first. She excused herself to the bathroom, supposedly overcome with pregnancy hormones. Zara heard her sister vomiting, whether from morning sickness or the effort of maintaining the lie she couldn't tell. Is she okay? Gloria asked, concerned. She's fine. Third trimester is rough. Zara maintained her smile even as something crumbled inside her. Mom, I'm glad the treatment worked. I'm glad you're healthy. That's all that matters. You matter too, sweetheart. Your happiness matters. Gloria studied her face. You are happy, aren't you? The question hung in the air. One word, no, and everything could change. Gloria could demand answers, could investigate, could potentially expose the whole operation, but then the treatment would stop. Criminal charges would follow, and Gloria would have to live with the knowledge that her survival had cost her daughters everything. I'm happy, Mom. I promise. The lie tasted like ash. I made my choice. I'm living with it, and seeing you healthy makes it all worthwhile. Gloria left the next morning, satisfied and grateful, completely unaware of the truth. Zara watched her mother's taxi disappear into soul traffic and felt the final thread connecting her to her old life snap. That night, sessions resumed. The bruises came back, the alarms controlled her existence again, but something fundamental had shifted. If her own mother couldn't see what she'd become, if Gloria could look directly at her daughter and see only what she wanted to see, then maybe the performance was the reality now. Maybe there was no authentic self left to protect underneath all the conditioning and adaptation. Month 9 brought Destiny Walker to Zara's door at 3 a.m, breaking protocol by leaving her assigned apartment. I can't do this anymore, Destiny sobbed, collapsing on Zara's couch. I thought I could. I thought if you survived, I could survive. But I can't. I want to die, Zara. Every day I want to die. And the only thing stopping me is knowing my mom would lose her treatment if I did. Zara should have called Minseo, should have reported the breach of protocol, should have maintained the system. Instead, she sat beside the younger woman and said, I know. How do you do it? How do you wake up every day and just perform? How do you live with what they've turned us into? I stopped thinking of it as performance. I stopped thinking of this as something happening to me and started thinking of it as something I do. Active instead of passive. It's the only way to maintain any sense of control. That's just rationalization. We're still prisoners. We're still being systematically abused. Giving it a different mental framework doesn't change the reality. No, but it changes how survivable the reality is. Zara recognized her own words sounding like Silas's justifications, like Minseo's logic, like the system reproducing itself through her voice. 11 months remain on your contract, Destiny. You've made it 7 months already. You're more than halfway there. And then what? I go back to my normal life and pretend this didn't happen? I teach English to smiling students and never think about the fact that I was sexually trafficked for over a year? Or you stay. Take a position in the organization. Use your experience to help future wives. Make their journey less brutal than yours was. Destiny stared at her. You're serious. You're actually considering staying. I'm considering having power instead of being powerless. I'm considering the difference between walking away and leaving nothing changed versus staying and potentially improving conditions for whoever comes after us. That's what they want you to think. That's the final stage of Stockholm Syndrome, identifying with your captors so completely that you join them. Destiny stood abruptly. I thought you were different. I thought you understood, but you're just another part of the machine now. After Destiny left, Zara sat alone in the dark penthouse, her words echoing. Another part of the machine. Was that what she'd become? Her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number, briefly visible before security protocols deleted it. Month 9 is the threshold. After this, the psychological conditioning is irreversible. If you're going to run, run now. C. Charlotte. Still trying to save women who might already be unsavable. Zara stared at the deleted message space. Month 9. Threshold. Irreversible. Was she already past the point of no return? Had the 7 months of systematic conditioning and chemical manipulation fundamentally rewired who she was? She looked at the contract on Silas's desk. Director of Companion Services. 50,000 monthly. Authority. Power. Purpose. Then she looked at the window. 42 floors up. No way out except through. 5 months remained on her contract. 5 months to decide who she would become when the 18 months ended. Victim who escaped, survivor who endured, or architect who stayed and shaped the machine that had broken her. The alarm on her phone went off. 3 a.m. session, Zara's body. Moved automatically toward the bedroom. Muscle memory stronger than conscious choice. And somewhere in that automatic response, she found her answer. She was already part of the machine. The only question was whether she'd be a component or an engineer. Month 10 arrived with Imani going into labor 3 weeks early. The birth was complicated. 36 hours of difficult labor, emergency interventions, moments where both mother and baby's lives hung in precarious balance. Zara sat in the private hospital waiting room with Silas and Theo, watching her manic brother-in-law pace frantically while Silas worked on his laptop, as if this were just another business day. "She's 19 years old," Zara said quietly. "She should be studying for finals, not giving birth to a baby that will trap her here for 3 more years." "She'll be 22 when the contract extension ends," Silas replied, without looking up from his screen. "Still young, still capable of building whatever life she wants after fulfilling her obligations. You actually believe that, don't you? That we can just walk away from this and be normal?" Charlotte did. She's building a new life in witness protection. It's possible. Charlotte is living under a false name in constant fear of retaliation, having accomplished nothing except displacing herself. That's not freedom. That's a different kind of prison. Silas finally looked at her. "Is that why you're seriously considering the director position? Because you've realized that power within the system is preferable to powerlessness outside it?" Before Zara could answer, a nurse emerged. "The baby is here. Healthy boy. Mother is stable." Theo rushed past, manic energy focused entirely on meeting his son. Silas followed more slowly. Zara sat alone for a moment, processing the reality that her sister was now a mother, trapped for 3 more years minimum, and that baby would grow up knowing this nightmare as his normal. In the recovery room, Imani looked impossibly young holding the infant. Her face was exhausted, tear-stained, but there was something new in her expression when she looked at the baby. Not joy exactly, but a fierce protectiveness that Zara recognized. "His name is Jin," Imani said quietly. "Jin Kang. Theo chose it." The baby was beautiful. Light brown skin, shock of black hair, tiny features perfect and unmarred by the circumstances of his creation. He had no idea he'd been born into a criminal enterprise, that his mother was a contracted wife, that his existence extended her captivity. "I'm going to protect him," Imani continued, her voice stronger than Zara had heard it in months. "Whatever it takes, however long I have to stay, I'm going to make sure he has a better life than this." "Imani, I'm staying, Zara. After the contract extension ends, I'm taking a position with the organization. Min Seo already offered me a role in family services, helping to create support systems for wives and children. I'm going to change this from the inside." The words hit like a physical blow. Her baby sister, the one Zara had promised to protect, had just committed to becoming part of the machine. "You don't mean that. It's the hormones, the trauma." "I mean it completely. You were right about power versus powerlessness. If I stay, I can ensure Jin grows up safe. I can influence how this organization treats families. I can make something good out of this nightmare." Imani's eyes met hers with startling clarity. "You're considering the same thing. Don't pretend you're not. We both know you've already made your choice." Had she? Zara wanted to deny it, but the words stuck in her throat. Theo returned with flowers and manic declarations of love and fatherhood. Silas stood near the window, watching his son interact with wife and child, his expression unreadable. As Zara left the hospital, her phone buzzed. "Min Seo, we need to discuss Destiny Walker's situation. She's approaching psychological crisis. Point. Your intervention required." Destiny was found unconscious in her apartment 2 days later. Overdose on sleeping pills, deliberate but unsuccessful. Dr. Park revived her, stabilized her, and moved her to the same psychiatric facility where Imani had spent time during month 2. Zara visited her there, playing the role of supportive mentor, though the bitter irony wasn't lost on either of them. "You're alive," Destiny said, her voice hollow. "I wanted to die, but Dr. Park wouldn't let me. She pumped my stomach, injected me with something, brought me back. Even suicide isn't an option here. They won't let us choose anything, not even death. Your mother's cancer is in remission. Complete remission. She has years ahead of her because of what you're enduring. And what do I have? 9 more months of systematic abuse followed by a lifetime of trauma? That's not a trade. That's just transferring suffering from one person to another. Zara had no response to that truth. You recruited me, Destiny continued, her eyes accusing. You looked me in the eye and made this sound survivable. You lied. I didn't lie. You are surviving. This isn't survival. It's slow death. And you know it. That's why you're taking that director position, isn't it? So you can tell yourself you're making a difference, improving things, when really you're just becoming another part of the machine that destroys women like us. Dr. Park entered with medication. Visiting hours are over. Destiny needs rest. As the nurse administered sedatives, Destiny's eyes stayed locked on Zara. Don't become them, please. If you stay, you become them. And then everything we suffered was for nothing. But walking away meant everything they suffered was for nothing too. At least staying offered the illusion of purpose, of transformation, of making something meaningful from meaninglessness. Month 11 brought corporate restructuring. Silas announced expansion plans for the companion program, 3 new locations across Asia, standardized protocols, formalized training systems, and at the center of it all, a new position, Director of Companion Services, responsible for recruitment, training, welfare, and operational oversight. The position is yours if you want it, Silas told Zara over dinner. Contract expires in 30 days. You need to make a decision. What happens if I refuse? If I just walk away? You return to America with your share of the settlement, $200,000 compensation for contract completion. You receive excellent references if you need them for future employment. Your mother continues receiving follow-up care at no cost. You're free to build whatever life you want. And the program continues exactly as it is. Nothing changes, nothing improves. Correct. We'll hire someone else for the director role. Probably Min Seo's recommendation, someone with similar background but without your personal experience. They'll run it by the numbers. No emotional investment in the wives' welfare. The trap was perfect. Leave and abandon any possibility of change, or stay and become complicit in perpetuating the system. If I stay, I want changes implemented immediately. Better psychological support for wives, stricter limits on performance requirements, protection protocols for pregnant women and new mothers, a formal grievance process, mental health screening and intervention. Agreed. Draft your proposals and we'll implement them. Just like that? You'll just agree to reforms that cut into your profits and limit your control? If it results in higher retention rates and fewer psychological breaks, it's good business. Happy wives last longer. Traumatized wives require expensive interventions and replacement. Your reforms could improve our operational efficiency while reducing costs. Silas's logic was always about numbers, never about humanity. Plus, having someone with your background leading the program provides authenticity. Future recruits will trust you because you've lived their experience. There it was. The final manipulation. Using her suffering as a recruitment tool, her trauma as marketing material. Zara's phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Final warning. If you sign that contract, you're lost. There's no coming back from becoming them. Choose freedom while you still can. See. Charlotte's messages were getting through more frequently now. Either security was degrading or Charlotte's resources had improved. Either way, she was still fighting, still trying to save women from the machine. But Charlotte was in hiding, powerless, displaced. And Zara had an opportunity for power, for agency, for transforming the system from within. The choice should have been obvious. Walk away. Choose freedom. Refuse to become what had destroyed her. But freedom to do what? Return to teaching English? Pretend the past 18 months hadn't fundamentally changed who she was? Live with the knowledge that women were still being systematically broken while she did nothing? Month 12 arrived. Contract expiration day. Zara woke to find legal documents on the dining table. 2 contracts. One releasing her from all obligations and providing her settlement. One appointing her director of companion services with a 5-year term. Silas was already awake, working at his desk as always. It's your choice. No pressure, no manipulation. Just genuine choice about your future. Nothing about this has ever been genuine choice. Today it is. Sign the release and walk away. Sign the directorship and stay. Either way, I honor it. Zara picked up both contracts, reading the terms carefully. The release was straightforward. Freedom, money, references, goodbye. The directorship was complex, authority, salary, benefits, but also deeper entanglement in the operation she'd suffered under. Her phone rang. Gloria Mitchell. "Sweetheart, it's your anniversary. 1 year married to Silas. I can't believe it's been a year already. How are you celebrating?" 1 year, 12 months, 365 days of systematic conditioning and destruction, and her mother thought it was cause for celebration. "We're having a quiet day, Mom. Just us." "Well, I wanted you to know how proud I am of you. Of both my girls. You've built beautiful lives there. And Imani with baby Jin. I'm so excited to visit again next month. You've given me so much to live for, Zara. I'll be forever grateful for the sacrifices you made." After the call ended, Zara sat with the contracts, her mother's words echoing. Sacrifices that gave Gloria something to live for. But what did they give Zara? The ability to save other mothers, to recruit other desperate women, to perpetuate the cycle while calling it harm reduction, or the ability to walk away with her humanity intact, leaving the system unchanged but her soul unsold. She looked at Silas, still working as if this weren't the most important decision of her life. "If I stay, I want full authority. No interference in my reforms, no override of my decisions regarding wife welfare. Real power, not symbolic." "Agreed." And Destiny Walker. When her contract expires in 6 months, she gets counseling, deprogramming, full psychological support, not recruitment for permanent positions. If that's what she chooses. It won't be a choice if you manipulate her the way you manipulated me. "I didn't manipulate you, Zara. I presented options. You're making a choice right now. Real choice. Whatever you decide, I'll respect it." Zara picked up a pen. Her hand hovered between the two contracts. Somewhere in Seoul, Charlotte was hiding, powerless but free. Destiny was in psychiatric care, broken but potentially salvageable. Imani was home with baby Jin, already committed to staying and becoming part of the system. And Zara stood at the crossroads between victim and perpetrator, between escape and complicity, between freedom and power. She signed. Not the release. The directorship. 5 years. Director of Companion Services. Authority over recruitment, training, welfare operations. She'd become what she swore she'd never become, but she'd do it her way. With reforms, with protections, with genuine care for the women entering the system. Or at least that's what she told herself as she signed away 5 more years of her life. Silas took the contract, reviewed her signature, and nodded. "Welcome to management, Director Kang." The title felt like a brand. Director. Not wife anymore. Not victim. Not survivor. Architect. The machinery of systematic destruction had gained a new engineer, one who knew exactly how the gears worked because she'd been crushed between them. Whether that would lead to meaningful reform or just more sophisticated exploitation remained to be seen. 3 months later, Zara sat in her new office at Club Eclipse's administrative level. Luxury furnishings, floor-to-ceiling windows, multiple computer screens showing various operational metrics. On one screen, footage from recruitment meetings. On another, psychological profiles of potential candidates. On a third, wellness reports from current wives. Min Asio entered without knocking. "The quarterly review is ready. Revenue up 40% since you implemented the new welfare protocols. Retention rates improved by 30%. Psychological crisis interventions down by 50%. The reforms are working from a business perspective." And from a human perspective? The wives report feeling more supported, but they're still contracted wives providing sexual services in exchange for medical care for family members. The fundamental nature of the operation hasn't changed. No, it hadn't. Zara had just made the cage more comfortable. Her phone buzzed. Incoming recruitment case. Woman in Los Angeles, younger sister with cystic fibrosis, no insurance coverage for transplant. Psychological profile indicated high resilience and protective instincts. Exactly the type Zara used to be. She could approve the recruitment, could look this woman in the eye in 6 weeks and offer her the same devil's bargain, could watch another soul get systematically broken while telling herself it was better than the alternative. Or she could decline, could fail to meet her recruitment quotas, could lose her directorship and any power she had to protect current wives. The choice wasn't really a choice. It never had been. Zara approved the recruitment. As she initiated the contact protocols, her office door opened. Imani entered, holding baby Jin, who was now 4 months old and gorgeous. "I heard you approved a new recruitment, number 23 since you took over." Imani's voice held no judgment. "You're good at this. Better than Minseo ever was. The women trust you because you've been where they are." "Is that supposed to make it better?" "It's supposed to make it survivable. For them and for us." Imani sat down, adjusting Jin in her arms. "I've been thinking about the support systems for children of wives, kids like Jin who are born into this operation. We need protocols, protections, developmental monitoring. I want to create a whole family services division." "You want to make this multi-generational?" "I want to make sure these kids have better lives than their mothers. That's harm reduction, Zara. That's the best we can do from inside the system." From inside the system. They were both inside now, both part of the machine, both architects of the same destruction they'd suffered. The question was whether they were improving it or just perfecting it. Zara's computer chimed. The new recruitment case had responded. Interested in learning more. Meeting requested. In 6 weeks, another desperate woman would sit across from Zara in a carefully staged hotel suite, would hear about medical miracles and contractual obligations, would make an impossible choice that wasn't really a choice, and Zara would facilitate it, would recruit her, would watch her break, all while telling herself it was different because she cared, because she implemented reforms, because she was making it better. But better than what? Better than letting these women's family members die? Or better than the completely unregulated exploitation that existed before? The answer depended on perspective, and Zara's perspective had been systematically conditioned for 18 months to see power as preferable to powerlessness, complicity as preferable to helplessness. She was part of the machine now. The only question that remained was whether the machine had consumed her completely, or if some fragment of her original self still existed, buried beneath the layers of adaptation and rationalization and survival. Somewhere in Seoul, Charlotte was still fighting, still trying to save women from becoming what Zara had become. Somewhere in America, desperate women were receiving first contact from Kang recruiters, being evaluated as potential candidates, being selected for systematic destruction disguised as salvation. And in a luxury office 42 floors above Seoul, Director Zara Kang reviewed psychological profiles and approved recruitment cases and told herself she was making a difference. The alarm on her phone went off. Not a session alarm anymore. She'd negotiated those out of her new contract. Just a meeting reminder, but the conditioning remained. Her body still tensed at electronic alerts. Her mind still calculated submission and performance and survival. You could leave the cage, but the cage never really left you. Imani stood to leave, Jin sleeping peacefully in her arms. Family dinner tonight? Silas is announcing the new Asian expansion plans. He'll want his senior management team present. Senior management? That's what they were now. Not wives, not victims. Management. Zara nodded. I'll be there. After her sister left, Zara sat alone in her office, looking out at Seoul's glittering skyline, the same view she'd had from Silas's penthouse, the same city, the same trap. Just a different floor. Her computer chimed again. The recruitment case had signed the preliminary interest agreement. In 6 weeks, another woman would enter the system, and Zara would be there to welcome her, to guide her, to help her survive. Because that's what she did now. That's what she'd become. And whether that was redemption or damnation, whether she was saving women or destroying them, whether she'd found purpose or just a more sophisticated form of captivity, those were questions for another day. Today, she had recruitment quotas to meet, welfare protocols to monitor, and a family dinner to attend. Director Zara Kang had work to do. The machine needed feeding, and she was now one of its most efficient operators. End of Part 8, Final Scene, Season 2. Set up. 6 months later, Zara received an encrypted message on her secure work phone. The sender information was scrambled, but the message was clear. Director Kang, my name is Sarah Chen. I'm with the FBI's Human Trafficking Task Force. We've been building a case against the Kang organization for 3 years. Charlotte Hughes has been cooperating as our primary witness. We have enough to bring charges, but we need inside testimony to make it stick. You're positioned perfectly to help us dismantle this operation from the inside. Reply to this message if you're interested in discussing immunity and witness protection. You have 48 hours before this communication method is compromised. The choice is yours. freedom or complicity. But this time, it's a real choice. Agent Chen. Zara stared at the message. 48 hours to decide. Dismantle the system and face Silas's retaliation, or maintain her position and continue the cycle. Real freedom or comfortable power. Victim or perpetrator. Or something more complicated that defied simple categories. Her finger hovered over the reply button. Outside her office, Seoul continued its endless rhythm. Inside the Kang organization, women suffered under contracts they'd signed in desperation. And somewhere in witness protection, Charlotte waited to see if her sacrifice would matter, if her testimony would be enough. The choice was Zara's. But was it really? Or was that just another cage disguised as freedom? She began typing her response.